Welcome back to Inherited Dawn, a One Piece podcast. We are breaking down the official, the canonical, the absolutely mind-melting Chapter 1152.
The title this week is The King of Hell's Disposition.
And what a disposition it is. We have to start there. We have to. For years, we've seen it. We've felt it. Every time Zoro gets that look in his eye. Every time he pushes past his limits.
Kaido asked the question on the rooftop. You too?
And we finally have the answer. The King of Hell has the Haki of a king. If you have been on this journey since Zoro first declared his ambition to a snot-nosed kid in a barrel, you should probably be subscribed to this channel, because we are just getting started. Let's get into it.
We open with the new giant warrior pirates preparing a lift to the Sun World. Most of them, anyway.
Right, because Chopper is staying behind. And this is just classic Chopper. Gaban's hurt, so of course our guy isn't leaving. It's that pure, simple straw hat loyalty. Luffy just gets it, no questions asked. Okay, take care of him.
It's a small moment, but it's important. The crew trusts each other's judgment implicitly. Luffy doesn't need a strategic reason. Chopper has his own mission. It speaks to the maturity of the crew now. In the early days, a decision to split up, even for a moment, would have been a much bigger discussion. Now, it's unspoken.
Oh, absolutely. It's like post-Whole Cake Island, post-Wano. They've all had to operate independently and trust that the others are handling their business. This isn't Luffy giving an order, it's him acknowledging Chopper's own captain-level decision-making in his field. Chopper's the best doctor in the world, and the best doctor in the world stays with the patient. It's that simple. Super!
And his patient is one of the most important figures of the old era. Keeping Scopper Gaban alive and well is strategically vital, even if Chopper is only thinking about helping someone who is hurt.
Exactly. And then Gaban, still recovering, drops the first massive piece of intel. He tells Luffy the Knights of God are not immortal.
He's very specific. He says the trick to defeating them lies in how Luffy uses his Supreme King's Haki.
This is huge. It's not just punch them harder. It's a key. It's a puzzle. Oda is telling us right now that the final battles won't just be about raw power, but about the nature of that power. Luffy has to think about how he's using his conquerors. My mind immediately started racing. What does that even mean? Is it like a frequency he has to tune it to? Is it about imposing a specific concept with his will?
It reframes the power system again. We went from basic Haki to advanced forms to Conqueror's coding, and now there's another layer, a conceptual application of it. My thoughts went to the nature of the Holy Knights themselves. If they are immortal through some sort of devil fruit power or scientific modification, perhaps a strong enough will, a king's will, can simply overwrite that reality to say, my will that you can be defeated is stronger than your power that says you cannot.
It's like Haki as a reality denial tool. Like the world says this is a rule, but Luffy's Haki is so strong he just says, nope. That feels very Luffy. It's not about intricate strategy, it's about a fundamental, stubborn belief in his own freedom and the freedom of others. The Knights of God represent ultimate authority, ultimate rules, and Luffy's Conquerors is the ultimate rule breaker.
It also suggests a potential weakness in the Gorosei's powers. They seem to be otherworldly, regenerating from any wound. Perhaps that regeneration is tied to a certain contract or authority that a king's will can nullify. It changes the win condition from destruction to conceptual negation.
Even Loki picks up on it. He's cuffed, but he hears that and immediately understands it gives him a path forward too. He's a king, he has that power, and now he knows there's a way to use it against the world's strongest. You can see the hope spark in his eyes. For years, he must have felt powerless, but now the right hand of the Pirate King just handed him a sliver of a chance.
Which makes his desperation to have his cuffs removed even more pointed. Haji Rudin still refuses. The trust isn't there. The history is too dark. To Haji Rudin, Loki is not a king. He is a king slayer, a patricide.
And this leads into one of the most unhinged and most perfectly Luffy moments in the entire series. The argument is escalating, Haji Rudin is immovable, and Luffy just goes, okay, problem solved. Loki, you can join my crew.
The sheer audacity. The silence in the room must have been deafening for a second. Everyone just trying to process the logic bomb that Luffy just dropped on them.
I was howling. I had to put the chapter down and walk around the room. Zoro and Sanji immediately lose their minds. He's too big. He eats more than you. They're the long-suffering parents of this chaos goblin captain. Sanji's probably having a panic attack, calculating how many sea kings he'd have to hunt per day to feed both Luffy and a giant prince. And Zoro's just thinking, where is he going to sleep? Is he going to break the mast again?
While Luffy is thinking on a different level. His logic is flawless in its own way. It's the logic of a king, ironically. He doesn't see political boundaries or social statuses. He sees individuals and their desires.
It's perfect. Elbaph doesn't want you. Hajirudin won't let you fight with him, but you seem fun and you want to help, so just join us. Then Hajirudin has to listen because he's part of my grand fleet. It's galaxy brain diplomacy. He's not just solving the problem of Loki being a prisoner, he's solving the problem of Hajirudin's insubordination by making Loki his own crewmate, thus putting him inside Hajirudin's chain of command through the Grand Fleet. It's absolutely genius in its simplicity.
It's also a profound statement of trust. After everything he's heard, all the accusations, Luffy's gut instinct is that Loki is a good person. He's willing to stake his crew's name on it. This is the same instinct that led him to trust Robin in Alabaster, to trust Vivi, to believe in Kyros. He reads people's core spirit, not their reputation.
But, of course, it doesn't work. Loki is too proud to be a subordinate. Hajirudin calls him a condemned man. The idea is shot down from all sides. It's just a beautiful glimpse into how Luffy mind solves problems. He just throws out the most direct, friendship-based solution and sees if it sticks. 99% of the time, it wouldn't work in the real world. But in One Piece, it's the right answer more often than not.
And then Gaban steps in again. He tells Hajirudin to set Loki free. He acts as the arbiter, the voice of reason from a generation that has seen more of the world's truths.
This is where it gets serious. Hajirudin lists all of Loki's crimes, the betrayal, the murder of his own father. He has every reason to say no. This isn't just a grudge, it's the foundational trauma of modern Elbaph. He's speaking for his entire people and their pain.
But Gaban reveals a crucial detail. He and Shanks were in Elbaph on the day King Harald was killed, and they sensed an abnormal Haki right before it happened.
Chills. Just chills. The former right hand of the Pirate King and a future emperor both felt something was wrong with that picture. That's not just a hunch, that's evidence. That's like having two of the most advanced spiritual radars on the planet both say, wait, that's not right. It's an undeniable anomaly.
It means the official story has a hole in it, a big one. The Haki signature at the scene of the crime doesn't match the accused. It's the kind of detail that could overturn a verdict if there were ever a fair court to hear it. Gaban has been holding on to this piece of information for 14 years.
So Luffy, hearing Shanks' name, immediately pivots. He tells Zoro and Sanji to go on ahead with the Giants. He's staying. He needs to hear this story. This is our captain, man. He knows what's important. Lore drop? Shanks connection? The big fight can wait 5 minutes. The fate of the world is at stake, but if it involves Shanks, Luffy's personal priorities take over. He's laser focused.
Hajirudin agrees. He gives Loki 3 minutes to tell the absolute truth. The weight of that command is immense. He is giving his sworn enemy a chance to rewrite their shared history. And the flashback begins.
14 years ago, we see a younger Loki and Jarul, the other giant prince. They're on their way to see King Harald.
And the political tension is clear from their first lines. Loki is angry that his father serves the world government. He even brings up rocks.
That is such a loaded line. They're the ones who killed rocks. This paints a picture of Loki as a rebel, someone who remembers the old ways and resents the new peace that came at the cost of bowing to the celestial dragon's power. It's not just about his father, it's about the soul of Elbaph. Giants respect strength and honor above all else. To Loki, serving the world government is the ultimate dishonor, a betrayal of everything their ancestors stood for.
It suggests the God Valley incident has deep personal resonance for the giants. They likely lost comrades or heroes that day. Perhaps some giants were even part of Rox's crew. Loki sees his father's alliance as a betrayal of their history. He's not just a hothead, he's a historian. He's carrying the weight of his people's legacy on his shoulders.
Jarul is the opposite. He's like, keep your voice down, man. He's content with the peace. He just wants his kids to be safe. It's a classic clash of ideals, the firebrand versus the pragmatist. So Luffy, hearing Shanks' name, immediately pivots. He tells Zoro and Sanji to go on ahead with the giants. He's staying. He needs to hear this story. This is our captain, man. He knows what's important. Lore drop? Shanks connection? The big fight can wait 5 minutes. The fate of the world is at stake, but if it involves Shanks, Luffy's personal priorities take over. He's laser focused.
Hajradin agrees. He gives Loki 3 minutes to tell the absolute truth. The weight of that command is immense. He is giving his sworn enemy a chance to rewrite their shared history. And the flashback begins.
14 years ago, we see a younger Loki and Jarul, the other giant prince. They're on their way to see King Harald.
And the political tension is clear from their first lines. Loki is angry that his father serves the world government. He even brings up rocks.
That is such a loaded line. They're the ones who killed Rox. This paints a picture of Loki as a rebel, someone who remembers the old ways and resents the new peace that came at the cost of bowing to the celestial dragon's power. It's not just about his father, it's about the soul of Elbaph. Giants respect strength and honor above all else. To Loki, serving the world government is the ultimate dishonor, a betrayal of everything their ancestors stood for.
It suggests the God Valley incident has deep personal resonance for the giants. They likely lost comrades or heroes that day. Perhaps some giants were even part of Rox's crew. Loki sees his father's alliance as a betrayal of their history. He's not just a hothead, he's a historian. He's carrying the weight of his people's legacy on his shoulders.
Jarul is the opposite. He's like, keep your voice down, man. He's content with the peace. He just wants his kids to be safe. It's a classic clash of ideals, the firebrand versus the pragmatist. Jarul sees the world as it is. Loki sees the world as it should be. It's the same conflict we've seen in so many other kingdoms, from Alabasta to Dressrosa.
But as they get to the throne room, they hear a noise. Loki, ever the hothead, kicks the door down.
And the image? It's horrifying. King Harald isn't just dead, he's being stabbed by his own royal guards. The people sworn to protect him are murdering him on the throne. The ultimate betrayal. It's like something out of a Shakespearean tragedy.
This immediately complicates everything. Loki was accused of patricide, but what they witness is a coup. He arrived not to kill his father, but to find him already being killed. He's a witness, not the perpetrator.
A full-blown palace coup, and then the perspective shifts. This is where Oda just flexes on everyone. We cut from this intense, violent moment to
Gaban of Shanks relaxing in a bath.
It's brilliant. The tonal whiplash is perfect. They're just two legends chilling. Shanks is talking about how he wanted to form a crew with Buggy and live a more laid-back life. It's such a human moment. It's easy to forget that before he was Emperor Red-Haired Shanks, he was just a kid who had been through a traumatic war, lost his captain, and just wanted to hang out with his best friend.
It really is. It shows a side of Shanks we rarely see. The young man, not the Emperor. But Gaban's response is so telling. He calls Shanks a child of fate.
What does that even mean? It's like he knows Shanks is destined for something massive, that he can't escape his role in the world, no matter how much he might want to just hang out with his friends. It's not a compliment. It feels almost like a burden Gaban is acknowledging, a heavy crown he knows Shanks will have to wear.
I think it's an acknowledgement of his lineage. Perhaps Gaban knows something about Shanks' family, maybe even that he's a celestial dragon by birth, which inherently ties him to the fate of the world. Or perhaps it's something more mystical. Gaban was on Roger's crew. He's been to Laugh Tale. He knows the real history. He might see in Shanks a specific role that needs to be played for the dawn to arrive.
He's a core piece in the world's puzzle. And as they're talking, Shanks reveals he met King Harald before in Mary Joy. He said they got along, but there was something they couldn't talk about there. an unspoken tension. This is fascinating. What would a giant king and a young pre-emperor Shanks have to talk about? And what topic is so taboo that even they couldn't discuss it in the Holy Land? It has to be the Void Century. It has to be Joy Boy.
The Holy Land is no place for honest conversations about history. Shanks hoped to have that real talk here in Elbaph before it was too late. He sensed that time was running out. Perhaps he knew Harald was a keeper of some truth, and that the world government would not allow that truth to exist for long.
And he was right. It was too late. He arrived on the very day the king was assassinated. The timing is just tragic. He came seeking an ally and a mentor, and instead he walked into a crime scene.
Then we get another interesting detail about Shanks's tattoo on his left arm, the one that the Lord of the Coast would eventually take. It's just a reminder of the timeline, grounding us in this specific pre-Luffy era. This is a Shanks who has not yet bet his arm on the new generation, a Shanks who is still figuring out his own path after Roger's death.
And as the coup is happening at the castle, we learn that a mysterious figure comes across Elbaph's forbidden devil fruit. Boom, there it is, the real motive.
Okay, but think about what this means. A secret forbidden fruit on an island of giants who we know have a deep connection to the sun god. Why would they forbid a fruit?
Is it another god fruit, like a moon god or forest god fruit to contrast Nika? Or is it something darker, the thing Nika fought against? Maybe it's the fruit of an ancient enemy, locked away for centuries, an anti-Nika fruit. My mind goes to Norse mythology, which Elbaph is based on. A frost giant fruit, a fruit belonging to Surtur, the giant who brings about Ragnarok.
It has to be something incredibly powerful, something worth killing a king and framing his son over. Its discovery at the exact moment of the assassination cannot be a coincidence. It was the entire point of the coup. The political instability was just a smokescreen.
The whole thing was a heist for a devil fruit, and it was disguised as a political assassination. The world government, or some faction within it, wanted that fruit, and they destabilized an entire kingdom of giants to get their hands on it. That's how important this thing is.
Exactly. And just as we're processing that, we get another curveball. We flash back again, this time 109 years ago.
To a younger King Harald, and he's a complete monster.
He was a tyrant, a jerk who messed with humans and his own people for fun. The panel shows him tormenting villagers, laughing. He became king at 45, which is just a teenager for a giant. He was an arrogant, cruel boy king.
So the beloved king, who was just assassinated, started out as a villain. The man Loki looked up to for defying the world government was in his youth the reason people feared giants from the first place. This adds so many layers to his character. He wasn't born a noble king, he became one.
It sets up a whole new mystery. What happened to change him? How did he become this feared tyrant to a respected king who would meet with people like Shanks and Mary Joy and discuss the secrets of the world? It implies a massive, life-altering event, a redemption arc that we've only seen the bookends of.
It's an entire character arc that we've just seen the beginning and end of. We have to fill in the middle. This is peak storytelling. And it all comes back to the moment we started with, the thing Gaban said.
That someone else in the Straw Hat crew has Supreme King Haki.
Sanji's face when he assumes it's him, priceless. Just a perfect comedic beat to break the tension. He's puffing his chest out, ready for his big moment. You can see him thinking, of course it's me. Prince of Germa, the Black Leg, it all makes sense. It's so in character for him to immediately jump to that conclusion in his rivalry with Zoro.
And Gaban just says, no, I'm talking about him. And he points to Zoro.
Zoro's just standing there, completely clueless. Huh? He had no idea. He genuinely did not know he possessed the single rarest form of Haki in the world. This is the most Zoro thing ever. The man is so focused on the practical application of getting stronger, lifting weights, swinging swords, that he never stopped for a moment of introspection to analyze the nature of his own spirit.
But Luffy did.
Luffy knew the whole time. He just says he can sense it from him, and he's surprised Zoro didn't realize it. That right there, that is the captain-first mate dynamic in a single exchange. Luffy doesn't need Zoro to say it. He just knows the quality of the man standing next to him. To Luffy, it's not a surprise. It's a given. Of course my number 2 has the Haki of a king. Why wouldn't he? It's the ultimate vote of confidence.
It retroactively recontextualizes so many moments. The intimidation of Monet on Punk Hazard, where she was so terrified she couldn't even reform her Logia body. That wasn't just bloodlust, it was an unconscious leakage of his will imposing itself on her. When he faced Kaku in Enia's lobby and manifested the Ashura demon spirit, was that the first visual representation of his conqueror's Haki?
And Kaido, on the rooftop, he blocks Zoro's attack and says, "You too?" Kaido, the Haki expert, recognized it instantly. Zoro probably was so jacked up on adrenaline and pain that he didn't even process what Kaido meant. He was just focused on leaving that scar. Now it all clicks into place. Ashura might literally be the physical manifestation of his kingly ambition, his desire to be the greatest swordsman, projected onto the world.
Gaban basically tells him to get it together. You can't just leak the Haki of a king by accident. You have to control it consciously if you're going to support an emperor. It's not a party trick, it's a responsibility. This is Zoro's next level of training, handed to him on a silver platter by the Dark King's right-hand man. He's gone from learning armament from Mihawk to learning conquerors from Gaban. He's being taught by the best of the best. Super!
Think about what this means for his fights. A Zoro that can consciously coat all three of his swords with Conqueror's Haki at will. He's not just cutting you with a blade anymore. He's cutting you with his soul, with his very ambition to be the king of swordsmen. Mihawk better be ready because Zoro's coming for that title, and now he has the exact type of power befitting a king.
It's the final piece of the Monster Trio's power set, really. Luffy has the freedom of a god, the power of imagination itself with the Nika fruit. Sanji has the pinnacle of science with his Germa exoskeleton, combined with the mysterious fire of his emotions, his Ifrit Jambe. And Zoro? Zoro has the disposition of a king. Raw, indomitable will. God, science, and will. The three of them are a perfectly balanced force.
The King of Hell. The title makes perfect sense now. It wasn't just a cool name he came up with after beating King. It's a reflection of his fundamental nature. He has the will to conquer. Bro, this changes everything for his future fights. Imagine him clashing with an admiral or with Shiryu of the Rain. It's going to be on a whole new level.
It does. And Sanji's question, asking Gaban if he also had it, is interesting. It's him trying to map out the power structure of the old generation. Roger had it, Rayleigh had it, did Gaban have it? It helps him understand the hierarchy and his own place in the new generation's structure.
It all just feels like the final pieces of the board are being laid out. We know what the Straw Hats are capable of, and now we're learning the hidden history that defines the world they're trying to conquer. It's all connected. Zoro's power, the giant's past, Shanks' journey, a forbidden devil fruit, everything is converging.
A history of assassinations, stolen devil fruits, and kings who changed their nature over a lifetime.
I can't wait to see how this flashback plays out. I need to know who that shadowy figure is.
And what that forbidden fruit does. If you have a theory about it or about Zoro's future Haki blooms, let us know in the comments. We read all of them.
All right, let's get to predictions for 1153. What do you have for me, Robin?
My first prediction is that the abnormal Haki that Gaban and Shanks sensed was not Loki's Conqueror's Haki. It was the aura of one of the Holy Knights. The assassination was a direct order from Mary Joas, carried out by a knight who framed Loki. And that's the Haki they felt. It was an alien, disciplined, and cruel Haki that felt completely out of place in Elbaph.
Ooh, a direct Holy Knight connection. I like that. For my first one, I'm going with Jarul. I think Loki's story is going to convince Hyruldine, but the big twist will be that the mastermind wasn't some outside force, but Jarul himself. He wanted peace at all costs, saw his father and brother as obstacles, and orchestrated the entire coup to seize power and align Elbaph with the government. He's been playing the long game. His pragmatism was actually a ruthless ambition.
That would be a tragic betrayal. For my second prediction, the forbidden fruit is a mythical Zoan, the Jotun Jotun no Mi, or the frost giant fruit. It's the antithesis to the sun god fruit, representing an endless winter or darkness. And the world government wanted it specifically to counter Nika. It's a weapon they've been keeping in their arsenal for the day Joy Boy returned.
A perfect counter to Luffy's power, hidden in the one place that worships the sun. That's poetic. Okay, for my second one, the mysterious figure who finds the fruit is going to be a younger member of the Five Elders, maybe Saturn or another one we haven't seen in action. This was their mission in their youth, secure the fruit and destabilize Elbaph in one move. It would establish just how long they've been manipulating world events from the shadows.
A direct link to the Gorosei's past would be a massive reveal. For my final prediction, we will see what changed King Harald. The flashback will show that his cruelty in his youth led to a catastrophe, perhaps the death of a wife or a close friend, and that trauma is what turned him into the beloved king. His alliance with the world government was a desperate attempt to protect his people from making the same mistakes he did, a peace born from immense personal loss.
Wow, okay, a redemption arc reveal. My last one is this. The flashback will end with Shanks and Gaban confronting the real culprits. They won't win, maybe they're outnumbered or have to retreat, but Shanks will get his iconic scar in this confrontation, not from Blackbeard, but from the Holy Knight who murdered Harald, setting up a personal vendetta that has lasted for 14 years. It would recontextualize his entire rivalry and his laser focus on the world government's shady dealings.